that kind of thing. And one guy who went to my uni who jumped on a call with me obviously earlier this year, but the time wasn't quite right or whatever. He actually jumped on a call. Call went really well, and then he was like, I need to think about it. And
he said the price was too high, right? Initially.
He basically he has epilepsy, and he kind of said something like it just wasn't the right time, and basically obviously he wasn't convinced, like whatever he said. And then he had another call with me because he's still stuck in the same position. Like he's at my uni, but he's, still living at home, not really making money. So anyway, call went really well. He said he needs to think about it, and I was like, that's fine. Like, did everything that we've spoken about. And then he sent me a voice note like, I've decided, made my decision, I'm going to go for it. Like, all really good. But then I got a message. Then I was like, okay, let's book in a call for yesterday. And then I got a message yesterday like, hey, I had 2 seizures on the weekend because he's got epilepsy. So I think he gets seizures. I don't really know. So like whether or not that's true, like, I don't know, but I can't really be like, I can't really be like, oh, let's jump on a call when you've had a seizure. I don't know what that looks like. So I kind of just said like, rest up and we'll, let me know when you want to chat. And then was going to ask you basically what to do. And then obviously, so that's him. Anna, the girl who also confirmed for the lower priced one. I've been trying to get like a thing booked in with her, like you said.
That was Phoebe?
That was Anna, who confirmed.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah.
The last I heard is that she couldn't talk. She said, hey, super sorry. I can talk to you next week. Hope that's fine with you. What happened from there?
I said, perfect. Which day next week works? We'll send an invite to book it in. We can always change it and reschedule. She didn't reply. And then yesterday I sent a follow-up, said, hey, Anna, should we jump on a call tomorrow and get you access to everything? She's not replied. Again, I was then going to ask you what to do. Phoebe, and this is just such an annoying situation because obviously I had a call with her at the start of the year. I'm sorry, not a call, had a Instagram conversation with her and didn't get her on a call and pitched it to her, which is obviously the wrong thing. And she said no. And then obviously this time got her on a call and everything. Call went really well. But she's very much like very skeptical. Like, and I asked like, what are the things? And she's like, well, what's the guarantee here? And I basically said, if you don't make your investment back within the 12 weeks, because she's like really good at what she does.
Yeah.
She just obviously doesn't know the outreach strategy. I was like, if you don't make it back, like I'll coach you until you do. That's how confident I am in it. And then she still come back. Did I message you what she said?
Yes. And you had a pretty good reply. So this was where she said, hey, sorry for the delay, get back to you. I've been thinking carefully about the mentorship, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
And then you had a really good response, to be honest, where you said, usually you'll never feel ready enough, blah, 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 right?
Yeah.
That was like the last touch point.
She's read that, not replied.
Yeah. So I do have responses on all 3 of those. So I took a look, and again, I'm just going to show it so we can look at it together. But is there anything else you wanted to cover about updates? That was a lot of my questions.
Yeah, no, there was also obviously Robbie, who you saw his last message, right?
Correct. Yeah, I haven't saved over yet.
So he obviously, basically no. And a couple of the other leads, obviously haven't kind of moved forward. So, and I guess maybe we go into that next week, but it's just a case of kind of where do I go from here? And that kind of thing. Yeah,
I think what's happening is like what I've noticed is you have the call, and then like the rapport is super, super good here, as far as I can see, right? Like, I don't know if you've had any negative calls necessarily, but usually your feedback is, okay, it was a really good call. Have there been any where it's like just a blatant, like not great? Not really, right?
There's not really been like the biggest objection has been basically now's not the right time, but like there's been a couple of people that said like I'm 100% going to join, but right now I'm studying, so I just couldn't put in the effort. which is fair enough. Like, that doesn't make sense to them. And the other one obviously being, I need to think about money, which is obviously everyone's. Yeah,
Yes.
but no one's been like, oh, this is shit sort of thing.
Yes, yeah. So no one's blatantly said, "Hey, I'm not interested." Blah blah blah. I think like at the end of the day, what is happening is there's definitely something happening on the sales call, in my opinion, that's causing like this feedback. And even here, like, yes, you have a really good call, but I think what the issue is, like, afterwards they think about it more and then the rapport dies off. So I think that there's an issue where it's the follow-up process and the call that needs to be looked at closer. So what I want to do is I just want to ask that you resend those 3 calls. I want to watch that later today. I have a bit of a gap later. I really want to watch the 3 calls that you had with all these people. So if you've had a call, the call that you had with Phoebe, I would love to listen to that.
Yeah.
Even if you've sent it already, just please resend it. So Phoebe, if you had a call with Anna, that would be amazing. Then Robbie, I know that was sent a while ago and I know how that went, so that's fine. But any calls that you can send me, that's a huge, huge deal.
Okay.
Then, so there's something happening on the sales call. I want to dial in on that. That's going to be probably the biggest shift for you. It's like, if we can analyze the calls that you've been having, even the other ones, by the way, out of these people that are super hot leads, like out of this, I would say these are the hot leads that are consistently, in your cycle right now. But then you had like a bunch. You had the 81 DMs, I believe you said. Where did I save that? I wrote that somewhere. But you had like 81 DMs, right? And you like calculated those numbers. I put that somewhere. I would love to know or get access to all of those calls you had. I think there's going to be a commonality in all of those calls. And once we change that one thing in the sales calls, it's going to change everything. I think that'll be a big thing. But now what I would say is, like, immediately with your question on what to say to these people, with Phoebe, I would not have responded to her. I think your response is really good, though. I think you have like a solid response. What I would say, and this should be your default follow-up, I would say, hey, all good. How about we jump on a free call? I know that you're struggling to understand whether the pricing is worth it and whether you can make that kind of risk. So how about this? We do a free call. And if you don't find it valuable, that's all good. And if you do, and you still don't think it's worth the money, that's fine as well. At least you get the value. You can maybe make some money back, and then you can pay me at a later point when it makes sense for you. And on this call, the whole point is, I think that this is an incredible approach if you say this because they feel like they're getting value. You're not just trying to sell them. That's the number one thing. But then the trick is that on the call, not trick, I don't want to say that, but the point of this is that you're going to get them on another call, which means you can go back into the cycle of building rapport again. It's as soon as you jump off the call that everything goes wrong because they've had time to think about it. They're going to, it's always the worst part of sales. It doesn't matter who you are and what your offer is, how good it is. As soon as they get off the call, they're going to be like, well, fuck, is this the right choice? Should I do this? What else should I be doing with this money? Whereas on the call, they don't even have time to be thinking about that. I was speaking to, I don't know whether it was you I was saying it to, but I was speaking to someone about it. And it sounds terrible to put it this way, but I don't know if you've ever like gone to a bar, like you're dating someone. So I'm sure you have had this. You've ever gone to a bar and you start flirting with someone and then things just like rapidly pick up. And then what happens is you sleep together. The next day you have like a bit of regret because things happened way too quickly. That's kind of like in the worst way possible. It's kind of the way that I relate to sales.
Yeah.
The reason that interaction happens is because you don't have the time to think about, oh, is this the right decision? Is this happening? Is this something I should be doing? Because it feels so good in the moment. That's how sales should work. It's like this process needs to be smooth. It needs to be, hey, okay, if you have a worry about money, no worries. What if the money aside, does this make sense for you? Okay, cool. Then if it makes a lot of sense, how about we just lower the price for you or do a split pay, or I have this option. So it's like in the sales call, you have this entire interaction. As soon as they jump off, it's like, oh, you've had time to think about this hookup, if you want to think about it that way.
Yeah.
So that's why you need to consistently try and get them back into the loop of getting on a call. This is like the key point, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So the whole point is you want to offer some free value and just say, okay, cool, 100%. If that is the problem right now, let's just do a free call. And you can even say it selfishly, I kind of want to see if I can help you for free. And then you come back to me, best case scenario, you have some results and we can work together. That's like my, you can even say this is my blatant bribe, is that I wanted you to get on a free call with me. I'm going to give you as much value as possible. And then if you find it valuable, great. And you want to pay me, great. If not, all good. So the point here is that we get them on the call, and on the calls, we're going to then go back to her objection. Because the idea is that you'll get on a call with Phoebe, for example, and you'll say, okay, cool, completely understand money is a bit tricky at the moment. So let me give you all this value. And then at the end of the call, you're going to say, look, to be honest, I think this is something that will really help you. And I know you said money is an issue right now. So how about we do a split payment? You can even do half now and then half in like a 4-week or 6-week time. At the halfway point, you can do the next split payment. How does that sound instead? So giving them as many options while you're on the call, while you have the rapport, rather than jumping off and they have more time to think about it.
Okay.
That makes sense, right?
Yeah. And it's definitely like a barrier for me is like, and you've probably had this as well, but work through it. Like when someone's on a call and like they say that they're going to pay straight away, it's like fucking relief. And it feels like it's quite rare that kind of like someone's just like easy, like, yeah, so
yes,
let's do it. And then there are obviously people that are like quite warm to the idea, but like, oh, I need to think about it. And it's like, in my head, I'm like, how much do I push them? It's so awkward to be like, kind of like forcing them to stay on the call and make the payment when you know they're uncomfortable. But then I guess that's the game, right? But
see, I don't like that either. That's like the sales side. And I think that's also what you didn't like with your previous mentor, right? Like, I don't like being salesy like that. I don't want to make people uncomfortable. I've been in that position where people try to sell me and I'm like, well, fuck, this is super awkward now.
Yeah.
I don't like that. That's why I like to lead with value so that there's an exchange. So I don't feel awkward saying, okay, cool. Well, let me just revisit this conversation by chance that it makes more sense. You've had the free call with me now. I'm not going to push you to do anything, but based on what you said, here's what I'm willing to do. After this call, I feel really good about what you have going on. I feel like there's a ton of value that you can gain from this, and you probably have on the call, right? They will agree. And then you can say, I'm going to put it out there. Would you be open to doing a split pay? Like, that's something I'm willing to offer. If not, we can even lower the price. Like, which, does that make sense to you? If she still jumps off the call and she's not sold, don't push anymore. But I would say that it's fair to push when you lead with value. That's like the number one thing in my opinion. Okay.
And like with Phoebe, for example, like obviously I've gone and replied now. So it's like, do I just leave that now? Like if I follow up again, does that not look really desperate? What do you think?
What I would do, I always think, I think so when there's like tons of messages, it's kind of like, okay, jeepers, like just relax a little bit. I would actually just send a voice note. This is my favorite default. It adds that personability, and then she's not going to assume there's desperation. I think when she can hear your tonality, just send her a voice note and say, look, actually, I've been thinking about this. I think that you're really good at what you do. I'm not just saying this to like milk you. I genuinely would love to get on a free call and give you value. Selfishly, I kind of want to see you get value out of it. And then maybe, you get some value, you get results, and you can give me somewhat of a testimonial just from the free call I do with you. And that's it. And if you don't find it valuable, that's fine. Say that in your voice note. It doesn't sound desperate. It's more like, okay, I actually had some time to revisit and think, and I can completely empathize that you're struggling with money, you're struggling with where you're at right now. So instead of just like starving you of it, let me give you free value. And in exchange, like make it very clear that you want something in exchange without actually admitting that you want to get her on a call and try and sell her again, right? So that's kind of like the end goal. But the real exchange, you're going to say, I'm blatantly trying to like bribe you to get on a call with me because I think you'll get value from it. And then eventually give me a testimonial.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't sound desperate in my opinion, because again, as soon as you lead with value, there's no desperation in my opinion.
Yeah. No. Okay, cool. That sounds good. I'll do that tonight. In regards to, let's say Robbie, for example. So with Robbie, what do you think about his response? Again, should I send him a
exact same thing. I wrote the same thing for him. I said that you should absolutely 100% also offer him a free call. He was so keen. He was willing to pay whatever. Like, something happened in that time, and again, I know that life happens, but life is always going to happen. Like, next year when he does have a job and he has this and he has that, he's going to realize, oh shit, but now I want to save and I want to do this and I want to do that. He knows that as well. So I think that you need to offer the same thing to him. Is a completely understood. I know how interested and eager you were to begin with. And I know that you have the potential for this because we spoke. So here's what I'm willing to do. I would love to get on a free call. Same exact pitch. Like, you just want to lead with that value. And this, I think, should become your default. As soon as people give you their like ultimate objection that you can't really deal with, where you're forced to send a reply like this to Phoebe, or you just don't know what to say to Robbie, I would always lead with value, because at least a free call highes your chances of getting them as a client versus just saying, hey, all good, we'll wait until next time, and then they never convert. I would rather bet my chance on giving free value.
Yeah.
And what I would even do, honestly, is I would record that meeting that you have with these people as like a free coaching call and use that as a case study, or use it on your YouTube as a private listing. Whenever people reach out to you, you can say, hey, by the way, you can check out my free coaching calls here. So that's what I would do. And I do that myself. I have a ton of private videos on my YouTube that no one knows about. But when people reach out to me, I send them the free consulting or coaching calls I've given to people, or the paid ones as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So you kind of create like a flywheel out of it, which works. So you get a ton more, even if they don't pay you.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
There's a guy called Mahanad.
Okay.
I had a call with. Went really well, and he basically said to me, he was like, look, I'm finishing my studies. He's like, I'm earning 10K a month right now, but not in the areas I want to. I'm finishing my studies, and I finish, I think he said, kind of like December. And then I will 100% basically be traveling, and that's when I want to do this mentorship. So we're, whether or not that's again a lie, but it kind of makes sense. He was like, I just wouldn't have time to even jump on calls with you. I then got his number and sent him a free module. I said, like, look, I'll send you a module so you can kind of see what's involved in it. So he'll be good. He should convert, like, hopefully. And I guess my kind of, so the people that I've sent to you were like the kind of the leads. Oh yeah, I had another call with someone called Vic, who again, like, on the call was basically like, they were like, I'm looking for a job, like, I really want to do this, but like, I don't have any money.
Is this someone new, Vic?
Yeah, this is a different person called Vic who lives in LA. And like, yeah, kind of, I actually don't think I've gone back to them. I might just send you a quick screenshot.
Yeah, please do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so I'll just quickly send this to you on WhatsApp. Just send it through now. She kind of went for the mention about like the lower tier offer, but I haven't responded. And then I know, I don't know if you had a chance to look at the list of like all of the DMs that I compiled of like basically all of the replies.
Did I? Wait, let me double check. I'm in our chat. Hold on 1 second. I got the list of YouTube ideas. Do you mind resending what you're talking about?
Yeah, I'll send it now. Yeah, so YouTube ideas, like, obviously next week, I guess we can go over that because like I'm aware.
Oh, I found it.
You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
So yeah, because like it kind of shows you like, and by the way, where it says unresponsive, that's like they've basically DM'd me, like replied to my story, and then I've said I've tried to start that flow, and then they just haven't responded. They might not have even seen it, which I just think is weird. But it took so long to make this, but it will be valuable. But yeah,
I'm so glad you did this, by the way. So what I would love to know, and this is literally what I was just putting over here, because each one, I think that we should build an idea, and like I'm very data oriented, so it might be like a bit much, but I do think that we should take a look at all of these and take a look at who is closed with no issues. I know there was like 1 or 2 people. I think the one person like just jumped straight into it, and that really surprised you.
Yeah.
I would love to know how they found you, number one, how long have they been following you, just like a bunch of stats. And I'm going to make a list of these. So what got them here? And then we got to build out the process of, okay, what did it take to get them to this point? And then I want to go through like, okay, what was our follow-up process after this? And obviously for the closed, no issues. We don't need that after. So obviously over here, this is where this is going to become very important. It's like, what is our follow-up process after they actually get to this point? So that's what I want to follow. But now with these people that are unresponsive, super, super, super simple. The ones that were not responsive, just send them a message. Like literally, this is all you're gonna say. Bump. That's it. That's like the number one thing I get replies to, because it's so short. It's not automated. It's not like pushy. It's not, hey, did you see this? It's just a, hey, just bumping this up. This gets the most responses. 100%. Just send like a little bump to these unresponsive.
And that's actually just reminded me, another thing is there are a couple of people who are like, I'd be really interested, but like I don't speak English. So, you know, and it's kind of like, is that a case of, because ultimately it is in English, how do I, like, I can't really be like, oh, you know, copy and paste into Google Translate.
I think this is interesting. Is it really a large part of your audience?
Well, one guy who I went on a videography retreat earlier this year, and one of the guys on the retreat, you know, messaged me and was interested and whatnot, and he was like, yeah, I'm interested, but oh yeah, sorry, I'm getting mixed up. Well, this guy I'm on about was like, yeah, I don't speak English, so I need to get better at speaking it, and then kind of like objected. And then another guy who actually was on a Sony trip I was on, who's like a Sony creator, which is crazy. That he's, you know, obviously not making money, but he was like, Polish is my first language. I'm really struggling, so I'm taking lessons, and I didn't go back because I didn't know what to say. And I also got a lot of Indian people as well in my audience, but that's just expected in the camera space.
On the sheet, there's only 3 of them, but what I would do if
by the way, with that sheet you're on,
yeah,
does it? Oh, you got access to the whole thing? Like if you
yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect. Sorry. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, this is just a preview. I am looking at it on another tab. You just can't see it. Yeah. But there's only 3 of them that I can see that have a language objection. But what I would say is if it's like a big issue that you notice, and even those one that said there was a language barrier, I would ask them about that. I would say, okay, that's interesting. And if there's a language barrier, does that mean that you can't like translate things? Is there a way that you could consume content? Is there a way that you have consumed English content before? I'll just use it as a chance to find out more from them, because sometimes asking questions allows for them to realize, oh wait, actually that's true, I have before. And you can say, okay, well, that's perfect, then it can work for you. Or it gives you a little bit more information about the audience, and like if language is an objection, you just don't bother with them in the future. It might come to that. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's a ton of unresponsive ones. I would follow up with them like today, just copy paste this bump message. That's it.
Yeah, and okay, cool. And then like what you said about just offering that free, because there's a couple of people as well that have asked like what the price is before jumping on a call, and I can't lie. And they've just said straight off the bat, like, yeah, I can't afford that. So with all those people, should I just go ahead and say the free consultation thing, right?
I would say so, to be honest.
Okay.
Because the issue is, it's kind of tough. This is something I struggled with for a while with the agency, for example, and like even the coaching offer. It's difficult to find a balance of disclosing the price first versus trying to get them on a call first. So what a lot of people do is they refuse to give the price first. They'll say, hey, yeah, super happy to go over that. How about we jump on a call? Because to be honest, I don't often give an offer to people if it's not a good fit. The only reason they're doing that is because they want you on a call. They want to do the sales pitch and then sell you. The issue with showing price first is that they're not convinced and they're not sold on the fact that there's value attached. So they're just going to look at the price. They don't understand that there is a reason for that price. That's why I don't always like mentioning price first. If they ask, fair enough. I think that we need to find a way to make sure that they either don't ask or that we can jump on a call with them. Because again, it's just like a value thing. The reason why everyone has a price objection is because they don't see that they will 100% get a return for this. Whereas if like, I mean, imagine I say to you, hey, you could buy Bitcoin for $5 right now. You'd be like, fuck yeah. If you say that in like 2000, there's no way you're not getting anyone. But it's because you can tell it's super undervalued right now. If I sold it for $5 and it's 100K. So I think that's the same way you need to think about your offers. We need to sell the value first before giving the price.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's the only reason this is becoming an objection, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah, because like Anna, for example, did say that. She was like, what's the price? And I just basically said, like, that's a fair question. We have different options depending on where you're at and what you can find value with. And she then didn't object and jumped on a call.
Exactly. So
Um,
do that. That is the best way. And you have different tiers and different options for different people. I would say, hey, we actually have a few different, exactly like you said, we have a few different options. I would love to jump on a call because I quite frankly don't want to give you like the most expensive option if that's not the best fit for you. I
Yeah.
like to look holistically at what you need, what will be the most valuable, and give you that option.
Okay. And I know that you've got to jump off in a sec, but just quickly, what do I say to Anna, who's just like not responding?
What did I say for her? Hold on. I had a note for her. Oh, the one who's ghosting. With her ghosting, this one's a tough one. I was trying to think about this as well. I think with her ghosting, you now on a position, you've sent 2 follow-up messages already, right?
Yeah.
Do you have her Instagram?
Yeah, I have Instagram, yeah.
I wonder if there's some kind of free training or free YouTube video you can send her that will be valuable. And just say, hey, Anna, by the way, I know I shot you a message on WhatsApp. Just thought I would send this here. I just sent it to someone else and just realized it could be super valuable for you. By the way, I would love to jump on a free consultation call for you. I know that you're super busy. You haven't gotten back to me. No pressure. Let's not worry about that. But at some point, I would really like to get on a free consultation call with you. There's no catch. And but attach it with value, like attach it with like a video or something that she can use.
Yeah, okay, cool.
But on a different platform. It's always like when someone goes to me on one platform, I don't like to seem needy there. I'll jump over to another one.
Yeah, okay, cool. And then I'll just focus on that the next few days and try and tie all those loose ends up. And then next week, if possible, I can obviously give you an update, and then we can kind of, because I need to start the channel, which I've done the ideation of, and I can also film next week as well.
Yeah.
I think
I think what we'll do is you let me know as soon as you're back, as soon as you have the flexibility for a call. We'll make it like a really compact 1-hour call. And in the meantime, I'll take a look at all of this as well. And what I will go back and forth with you about probably is just this process. It's like, what is getting them to this point? And then what can we do afterwards to make sure that they convert when they don't convert? I would love to see that process. And I'll probably have a bunch of follow-up questions so we can build stuff up.
And 2 more things. One is what do I say to the seizure guy?
Oh, yeah. I had a... So what I would do is I would just send him a pretty simple message, because the last follow-up was like, well, the last thing was him having seizure. You didn't know how to approach like following up.
Yeah,
right?
I just said, obviously, take your time, like, hope you're well. He's messaged me yesterday saying, I'll be better soon. And then obviously,
So what I would do is I would message him again today or tomorrow and just say, hey, just wanted to check in. How are you feeling? When would make the most sense? I don't want to bug you while you're resting up. When would make the most sense? This week or next week? Yeah. Give him options instead of like a yes or no.
Okay. And the second thing was the people that have signed up to the one-to-one, have surprisingly been given really good, sending really nice messages like, oh, the stuff's so helpful, So
that's not surprising, right?
Well, I'm surprised because when I did 3.5K for week coaching every week, people still had fucking problems, so it's interesting. But I guess we can dive into that next week as well.
Yeah, I'll be curious about that, but I think it's a really good thing, and I'm not surprised. I think that you, based on like just the outreach one, I feel like that will be the next thing that we talk about. Is as you onboard people, we're going to face new problems of like, okay, how do we maintain happiness and get testimonials out of them? And that's where we're going to have a complete separate conversation about how to set expectations on the sales call, how to set expectation on the onboarding call to make sure that they're 100% happy. And that's probably what you've done inadvertently.
Yeah, and I will, and I'll also do your payment now. I'm so sorry.
No, don't stress. I know that you've been busy. That's why I was like, I didn't even mention it.
I'll do it now after this call.
Perfect.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, sorry this was short, but next week we're going to make it super packed, and we won't even count this as a coaching call. This was just like a quick catch up.
Amazing. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Bye.
Bye.